Ms. Bailey, how did the Adelson-Markel divorce compare across the variety of cases that you've handled?
Simply, it was routine, it was amicable. I've done similar cases that have had anything from 2-day to 7-day trials. I've had them range from $200,000 to $500,000 in fees and costs. I've had multiple financial experts, child development experts, vocational experts, all retained, deposed, testifying. I've had cases with multiple discovery issues, discovery over psychological records, financial records, third-party subpoenas, 2 full days of deposition of just one party. This was an easy case compared to many.
Did it look worse than it was because of the way in which Mr. Markel's pleadings were drafted?
Yeah, I mean, he drafted pleadings, motions, I think, and responses would be more appropriate than pleadings, but that's kind of technical. He drafted them like he was drafting a law review article or something. They weren't technically correct. They were verbose. They were hyperbolic. He used a lot of inflammatory language. But when you really looked closely at his requests of the court, there was no there there. There was no foundation for his asks.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examine.
What is it you were asked to do in this case?
I was asked to review the documents I was given and to opine about whether this was truly a highly contentious custody case, essentially.
And why would your opinion about whether it was a highly contentious custody case matter?
Well, that's for somebody else to decide. I mean, I've done 2,000 cases, or give or take 100 on each side, and I think I have a pretty good judge of where this falls as far as contentiousness.
Sure, but you're somebody that has vast experience with a ton of divorces, right?
Sure.
The parties only have experience with one divorce, right?
I don't know how many they have experience with,
So
but
isn't
sure.
the contentiousness in the eye of the beholder, in the sense that to you it might not seem like a big deal, but to the parties it might be the most important thing in the whole wide world. Do you
Well, that's
agree
one
with
reason-
that? Do you agree with
Ms.
that?
Cappleman, Ms. Bailey, wait for the question, wait for the answer. Do not speak over each other.
Do you agree that a case, as a lawyer, might be routine, whereas to the parties it's the most important thing in the world?
To some degree. That's one reason I called Kristen, is Ms. Adelson, in particular, of the lawyers in our community of the family law bar, is extremely measured and calm. And I find that when I litigate against her, we reach resolutions, that people stay measured and calm, and we get things done. She's not one of the other lawyers in town who may stir cases up or play on those emotions. So our job as lawyers is to explain to our clients when we get a motion. If I get something, for example, that, although I've never had, something similar to what Mr. Markel would file, the immediate response is to call your client and go, I know you're going to read this at first glance, so it's going to seem messy. But there's no legal basis for this, so don't worry. And my understanding is that is what she communicated to Wendi.
And when you communicate these things to your clients, hey, this is no big deal, this is no problem, this is a bunch of gibberish, do they always accept that?
Well, that's not the way I would present it, but
Do they ever get upset about the gibberish in the pleadings, the offensive materials in the pleadings, regardless of whether or not it's going to impact their chance of success in court? It can be emotionally charged, can it?
I would say annoying more than emotionally charged.
You would not say that divorce and child custody issues are emotionally charged?
They can be, but in this case, they weren't.
They weren't? How do you know?
From the pleadings, because I don't have 10,000
But you're
pages in
not-
front of me.
You're not in the mind of the people whose lives are impacted by these pleadings. It's not just about pieces of paper and a binder, is it?
I don't think that's what I said.
People's lives are impacted by the decisions that go on in court, which for you are routine. Would you agree?
In this instance, they reached agreement on all issues, so they had complete control of what was coming out of the court.
Ma'am, could you please answer my question? Are people's lives impacted in drastic ways by routine matters that we see in court as lawyers?
People's lives change after divorce, certainly.
So, like, I may think I've got a bag of stinky garbage, but the garbage man might not think it's stinky at all. Do you get the reference?
I don't.
What is no big deal to us is a big deal to these litigants, right? You can't agree with that.
Perhaps.
You can't agree with it. Strike the question. You were asked, let me ask you this. Let's go on to something else. Have you ever had people get murdered or commit suicide based on the issues that are going on in your family law
I've
litigation?
never had anyone murdered. I had in one instance, a Middle Eastern person committed suicide just because there was a divorce, and that was shameful. So nothing was it was literally the day after the petition was filed, and he had threatened, if you file, I'm going to kill myself, and indeed he did.
And to you, divorce is not shameful, is it?
To me, divorce is not shameful.
Divorce is not a basis to commit suicide, is it?
Not according to me, but I didn't grow up in Iran or wherever this custom or feeling.
Exactly, Ms. Bailey. To
Derived.
that person, it was a reason to commit suicide, right?
Apparently so.
Aren't these issues raised in these pleadings potential fuel to make people upset?
Potential fuel to possibly make people upset?
Yes, ma'am. For example, you were asked about what we've called the grandma motion. You say, oh, it's no big deal, it wouldn't be granted, it was buried in there. But the allegation is, grandma is disparaging me to these kids, and I won't tolerate it, right? Couldn't that be upsetting to grandma?
You'd have to ask Grandma. I don't.
Exactly.
It shouldn't have been. There was no proof,
It shouldn't have been, in your opinion.
in my opinion.
But in your opinion, divorce is no reason to commit suicide, right?
True.
Gibbers, according to the evidence in this case, means Jew in boots. It's not a flattering term by that definition or by your definition of someone that speaks gibberish. Can we agree it's not a flattering term?
No, it's probably not flattering, but I've seen far, far worse.
You've seen worse.
I have.